Hi everyone, Binny here with Beauty by Binny. Today's tutorial is a super glam and exotic South Asian bridal makeup look. I get a lot of emails about doing bridal makeup for Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, and Middle Eastern weddings, and so I decided to create a look that you guys can do yourself for any special occasion. I went for copper and purple eyeshadows, but you can change the colors to go with your outfit. I already have a traditional red and gold Indian bridal look on my channel, so please check that out. Also guys, please like and subscribe and follow Beauty by Binny on Instagram and Facebook. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. After cleansing and moisturizing my skin, I sprayed on some Fix Plus by MAC. Next, I'm going to use this Kryolan DermaColor Foundation Wheel to do my foundation, contour, and highlight. And then I'm blending it all out with a Real Technique synthetic buffing brush. I like to blend in small circular motions starting from the jawline and moving upwards. I also recommend applying foundation to your neck, ears, décolleté, and even shoulders if you're wearing a lower neckline, especially for photos. Okay, then I applied a white eye pencil right under my brows. I used Makeup Forever's full coverage concealer and a synthetic brush to blend it all the way down to the rest of my lid. Here I'm using a mix of these two cream blushes and I'm applying them to the apples of my cheeks and over my lips. Next, I used Laura Mercier's Loose Setting Powder and a powder puff to set my foundation in place. And guys, after that, I applied Nye's Banana Powder to all the areas I want to highlight, like under the hollows of my cheeks, under my eyes, the center of my forehead and chin, and then just dust it all off using a large powder brush. So here you can see how the highlighted areas have more of a glow. Also, if you want to see how I did my brows for this look, please watch my recent brow tutorial. For my eyes, I'm first using this light brown shade from my OFRA Cosmetics Pro eyeshadow palette, and I'm applying this shade right into my crease with a MAC 217 brush. I highly recommend this palette to anyone who's looking for high quality shadows without spending a fortune. It's also perfect for makeup artists and for travel. Next, I blended out the edges of the shadow with a MAC 224 brush. After that, I'm applying NYX's Jumbo Pencil in gold to the inner 2/3 of my lids. Any gold or copper pencil, cream shadow, or even gel liner will work, and then just blend it out a little bit with a shadow brush. This is a 24/7 Glide-On pencil by Urban Decay in the color Lucky, and I'm applying this to the outer corners of my lids. I lightly blended out the edges using my MAC 217 brush. This gorgeous rusty copper shade is from a discontinued clearance palette called Forest. I'm applying this onto the gold NYX pencil with a flat shadow brush. To avoid fallout, tap off any excess shadow from your brush and then press it onto the lid rather than sweeping it on. For the outer corners, I'm using one of my favorite eyeshadows from MAC called Trax. It's like a mixture of purple and brown with gold specks. I'm adding this to the outer corners and then lightly bringing it up into my crease. After that, I'm blending the edges out again using a fluffy shadow brush from Beauty is Paradise. This is a dark purple eyeshadow from Dior, and I'm applying this onto the outer corners as well as bringing it into my crease. The pencil brush that I'm using is also from Beauty is Paradise. To add more warmth to the crease, I'm using MAC's Brownscript eyeshadow. I'm applying this right on the edge of the shadow and taking it higher up into my crease. I think blending is crucial to these kinds of exotic makeup looks, especially if you're the bride. You want your makeup to look soft and pretty and well blended and not harsh and sharp. If you're getting a makeup artist to do your makeup, make sure you let them know that you prefer your eyeshadow to look softer and well blended. Okay, so next I added this satiny gold color to the inner corners of my eyes and then blended it out to soften the look. This matte black shadow is from my OFRA palette, and I'm using it to draw a thin line into my crease to make it appear deeper. As I've mentioned before in other tutorials, I pretty much have no natural crease to my lids, so I have to fake it by using darker eyeshadows. To highlight my brow bone, I'm using a very dull pale gold shadow. I prefer a matte or satin finish on my brow bone instead of shimmery, metallic, or glittery shadows. And once again, I'm using my MAC 217 to blend out any harsh lines. If you prefer a metallic finish to the brow bone, apply a thin line of a light metallic color under just the arch of the brow. I used Urban Decay's Maui Waui with a wet shadow brush. Next, apply black eye pencil or gel liner into your waterline and make sure you get the inner corners as well. If you want to make it easier to achieve the perfect wing for your eyeliner, you can use the edge of a business card or a small piece of tape like this. I used a black gel liner by Bobbi Brown and a small liner brush from MAC. Continue adding more liner until you get the desired look. Gently remove the tape, and look how easy that was, and none of my makeup came off with the tape. I added more gel liner to thicken the wing, and then I extended the gel liner on the inner corners of my eyes into a point. Don't overdo this because it'll make your eyes look like they're closer together. If you naturally have close set eyes, I recommend skipping this step. Alright, so at this point my eyeshadow and eyeliner is done, and now I'm adding a double set of red cherry lashes. Lashes make all the difference to any makeup look, and I highly recommend wearing false lashes, especially on special occasions. Once the glue dries, go back and cover any visible glue with your eyeliner. Then just add your favorite mascara to your top and bottom lashes, and also to merge your natural lashes with the false ones. Next, I added some of the Brownscript eyeshadow under my lower lash line. And after that, I used a wet brush to apply the purple Dior shadow under my lower lash line as well. Once the eye makeup is done, I used MAC's Blunt to go over all the areas that I contoured, like the hollows of my cheeks, the hairline of my forehead, and under my jawline and chin. Be very light-handed when you do your contouring because it's much easier to add more makeup than to remove it. Contouring will also help your features look more defined and symmetrical, which makes you more photogenic on camera. You can also make your nose look slimmer by contouring down the sides of the nose and adding a highlighter in between. For highlighter, I used a loose shimmer powder by MAC called Golden Bronze. I'm applying this down the bridge of my nose, on the high points of my cheekbones, and also lightly on the apples of my cheeks. To make your lips look fuller, apply some highlighter right over your cupid's bow. For blush, I used this pretty pink color from my OFRA Cosmetics Pro Blush palette. For my lips, I first lined them using NYX's Natural Lip Liner. Then I applied a lipstick called Nude Beach by Feline Cosmetics. After that, I applied a pale lavender pink lipstick called Felicity, also by Feline. I went over my lips again with the same lip liner, and finally, to finish the look, I used MAC's lip gloss called Purr. To make sure your makeup stays on all night, you can set it with a setting spray like MAC's Fix Plus. And that completes our makeup look today. My biggest advice for bridal makeup is that you don't want to get too caught up in trends. Glitter may look pretty now because it's in fashion, but eventually all trends fade, and 10 years from now you'll be regretting all your wedding photos with sparkly lids. My advice would be to stick to the basics and classics. Think of icons like Marilyn Monroe, Brigitte Bardot, and Raquel Welch. I mean, to this day we look at their pictures and say, wow, they're gorgeous. Guys, I really hope this tutorial was helpful and taught you something new. Please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much for watching Beauty by Binny. Take care. Mwah.